This is Stop Disinfo in its tracks. This zine is intended for anti-fascist community defense groups to understand the importance of good information and why it is necessary to stop bad information in its tracks. We have worked with several teams to compile this dense piece in a short turnover. This should not be considered all expansive, nor does it cover excessive nuance. As we move into the elimination stage of genocide against the trans community, good information and ending bad information is more important than ever. We hope these visual aids will serve your work well. Pride was a riot, Sacramento. Spreading disinfo has a human cost. Far-right propagandists know this and use this to target members of hyper-marginalized communities. Disinfo can have a dire cost when the moment strikes right, and propagandists such as Charlie Kirk, Michael Knowles, and Andy Ngo specialize in this opportunism as a career. The goal of disinfo for them is not a matter of being right or wrong in conveying information, but in instrumentalizing their platform to paint a convenient narrative during a window in which the target is receiving disproportionately high attention. Often, the worst legal consequence a disinformation propagandist will receive is a demand for correction or retraction long after the social gaze has passed. This short-sighted restoration, or page 10 retraction, will protect them from lawsuits with no meaningful impact on restoring the damage their disinformation has caused on the front page. In tandem, the impacts of targeting hyper-marginalized communities results in nebulous and organized social forces reconfirming their existing biases and furthering their convictions and beliefs.
End the trail here. End the trail here. Information is a weapon. It is not inherently neutral. It is important to set clear boundaries around information you do not want to receive and for sources you do not want information from. Knowing something you shouldn't know can be a liability to yourself and others. Information from loose lips passed through insecure channels may already be compromised. Information from quote-unquote trusted sources is not inherently credible just because the messenger is. You are solely responsible for the information you share and the impact it has on your sphere of influence. It is your duty to act with intention, diligence, and the considerations of others before reproducing info that can damage human life. When someone says, "from a trusted comrade," ask yourself, trusted to who? If they must ask for your trust, you must ask for theirs. Do not concede to the instrumentations of others. If your contact says they cannot share their source, ask them if their trusted comrade has collaborating info. If they cannot verify who, and they refuse to verify how, this person clearly does not trust you and should not be giving you this info in the first place. What you've been told should not be shared, distributed, or reproduced. Additionally, when you see others with this info, you should encourage them to verify. So did you hear about what went down with Lex and the whole scene they were rolling with?
No, what? Lex? With the Burning Bridges patch? Who does the Pitbulls, not Police Night? What happened?
Yeah, well, as it turns out, they actually completely fucked over people who got arrested for March.
Wait, really? I thought they were down.
Yeah, apparently they ended up laughing in my friend's face and threatening them over bail money, and no one has heard from them since, and that's why people got stuck with charges.
Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck that. My friend's life got ruined from that.
Yeah, like apparently they said they don't care at all about what happens now.
Fuck that. Fuck Lex. Taking money from your comrade's bail fund is as bad as working with the fucking police.
Honestly, Lex and the whole group, what is it called? Instigate or some posturing bullshit like that? The group they run has been on thin ice for a while now. A friend of mine said that members of that group have been bad-jacketing people to get revenge on their ex they claimed abused them, but they're all clearly just abusing vulnerable people who just don't know any better, like cult behavior.
Wow. Yeah. Anyone who excuses that kind of shit is fucked. I gotta let people know. Way too many people have already been trusting people in that group, and this puts them in a bad spot.
Yeah. Anyone with one of those burning or anyone with those bridge patches is not someone I want around me.
A few days later. Yeah, like, thanks for messaging me, but I don't think I want to go and I don't want to head into town for that counter demo like we talked about.
What? Well, why?
I mean, it's kind of like the wrong vibe.
Wait, this is weird. What are you talking about?
Well, it's just that I heard that there's like a whole group out there that's protecting police and harboring abusers, and honestly, I just don't feel safe showing up when I can't trust organizers to have people's back.
Oh yeah, that burning bridge crew. Yeah, that shit was fucked up. Apparently, they were using pit bulls to intimidate people and stole someone's bail fund.
Yeah, that's not okay. Like, how does that even happen?
A few days later. Honestly, it's pretty fucking bold of you to still be trying to be showing up to this food distro group. We have a lot of vulnerable people counting on us, and we're not about to have our resources stolen.
I what? What do you mean? I've been showing up for this group for like the past 8 months. Uh,
That that burning bridges patch, that's some fast shit.
what this? I just got this from a friend of mine.
Yeah, I'm not cool with someone who keeps friends with people who send people to jail.
I what? I mean, look, I don't know what this is about, but I can take the patch off. My friend is cool. What are you talking about?
Nah, I'm not here for this. Sorry, you seem cool, but we've tried. We have too much to lose, and I mean the fact that you're even playing ignorant right now and defending your friend is really upsetting to me. It's just really manipulative.
I uh, uh, what?
A few days later,
A comment thread under the story titled, quote, "Protest dries up, but for some people, the court battle is just beginning."
161 Farm Joy says, quote, yeah, actually the real problem here is that organizers didn't want to deal with a group of cough pit bulls against police cough that stole all the bail fund money from the organizers, and now everyone's fucked because the march organizers are cowards. We can't keep letting this shit happen, unquote. 437 repeats, 2,840 likes.
Brick the Bank says, sounds like some infiltrator shit, to be honest. We've had groups like that, and inevitably they're on some fash adjacent shit if they're not just outright cops. Anyone with a bridge patch is sus. 28 repeats and 18 likes.
Nopazaran says, quote, that's because anyone who's doing this is an infiltrator, unquote. 4 repeats, 67 likes.
So, just very quickly to say, you could see how the amount of information that goes out, depending on users, it can spread widely very quickly. As you have 437 people repeating it and 2840 likes, so it starts to really push that information out, and people are starting to comment underneath it, and those comments help perpetuate the posts. A few days later, fuck! Somehow Andy fucking No is putting all of insert town Antifa name on blast for, quote, robbing black people who were arrested and, quote, threatening children with pit bulls. And apparently he has sources from in the community? What the fuck is happening? Why are we always so fucking bad at solving these kind of intra-community conflicts? God, this is so fucking sad.
Later that night, text from Lemon. Yo, Lex, what the fuck? I heard you robbed incarcerated people and fed their children to your pit bulls. I hope you literally choke. I can't believe that I thought we were friends after Mark was so fucking kind to you. Fuck you.
What? Why are you defending Mark? Four of his former exes also came forward about him assaulting them too. Is this about that thing where someone mixed up sending me the email to call the legal observers instead of the email to transfer the bail fund? I thought that was solved months ago. Like, me and the whole other group laughed it off. It wasn't a big deal. I don't understand.
Get fucked, you cop collaborator. I got you fired from your job after I showed your boss you're not safe around kids, you fascist fucking disgust. Good luck trying to pull that shit in this town again.
A few months later. Yeah, I don't really know what happened with shit. One moment everyone was out fighting and doing real shit. The next everything seemed to just fall apart, and I guess a bunch of those folks ended up leaving town or something. So now the scene's just dead. So quick comment, and then you could see how information about how disinformation essentially not only just ruined a group that was doing things, and mistakes happen, and those mistakes are fixed quickly, but that information, because it can't be verified, just goes out, and people start sending out more information that can't be verified. So it really has a now, especially nowadays, it has a really quick way to really fuck up people in the movement, and infiltrators and provocateurs and misogynists can all use this tactic in order to squash movements. I mean, that's what the U.S. government does with everything. That's what all governments do, really.
Bad information kills communities. The passing of gossip, participation in rumor mills, and the intentional disregard of care around the handling of sensitive info tends to manifest immediate negative impacts in our communities. Lack of respect for the handling of inflammatory information, like many inflammatory things, can quickly blow up in the face of the holder. Bad information, when spread maliciously, is designed to play into the common biases and blind spots inside community channels. Like a virus, it counts on well-meaning agents to carry it to others to ensure the most effective spread and harm. Often, bad information will initially gain momentum because of deference to trusted figures or social influencers who lend it unwarranted legitimacy. Moreover, when disinfo rejects pre-existing fears, biases, and even important shared concerns, it can quickly go viral, achieving the status of a general truth before it has been properly challenged or contextualized. When bad information travels into larger, more credible bodies or becomes widely known, it is often legitimized by the very nature of its spread. The total of the damage that bad info provides proves impossible to measure or fully undo once it reaches this degree of exposure, and will even serve to eclipse the source point of the info entirely. Example: everyone knows Marilyn Manson removed several ribs for oral masturbation. Despite overwhelming acceptance of this belief, there has never been evidence to support this, and the origin of the rumor remains unknown. The fact that MM has been abusing sex workers and underage concert goers for years, however, has only recently made public knowledge, showing that the information that gets passed around is not always the information that is needed to keep people safe. Without due diligence, it is often quite the opposite.
Challenge information. Who told you that? Where did you get that? Confirm sources. Were they there? What was their involvement? Corroborate details. Who else was there? Did they see the same thing? Relay the facts. Verify what you can prove. Share what first-hand reports say, and end unconfirmed speculation with certainty. Misinformation disproportionately hurts the networks of marginalized communities. Harm becomes exceptionally worse when an already targeted marginalized community exists under a disproportionate amount of negative attention and controversy. During popular uprisings for the civil rights of indigenous sovereignty, black liberation, and trans queer liberation, it is common for media spheres to further the quote-unquote othering of these targeted groups until they exist as caricatures and stereotypes inside the dominant social culture. These social cultures can position themselves as allied or opposed, however, play equal parts in furthering the damage inflicted on and inside of marginalized networks. Social activism, as opposed to militant resistant organizing, is dominated by disaffected socialites with access to capital, disposable income, and a surplus of resources. This can make the integration of militant formations inside of social networks a crucial tool for the defense and support of marginalized communities. The purveyor of our repression knows this too. So while on one hand they fight for the popular support of their cause, be it law enforcement, neo-Nazis, or opposing factions, they also further their cause by disrupting public support for marginalized groups and militant community defense formations through the exploitation of misinformation inside social groups. While bad information can always be distributed by accident, there is no shortage of bad actors, from recuperated quote-unquote social leaders to criminal informants, CIs, who will seed well-crafted narratives into social spaces on behalf of organized intelligence groups. While the most common purveyor of bad information is well-meaning allies with poor security practice and not a psyop, these socialites are vulnerable to spreading bad information indifferent of how handcrafted it may be. So while the conditions of these socialites might survive a targeted disinfo campaign, the damage they can inflict on marginalized networks by spreading disinfo can prove deadly to targeted groups who already live under a scarcity of resources and support. Oh, graphics for you. Social networks with a lot of reach and influence providing an abundance of resources and support. This is the first group. And they reach a lot of people. Lots of reacts, likes, zip mounts. And then this is a limited social network with less comparative reach providing relatively fewer resources and support. How we think it works. We're all just gossiping to each other, you know, just. But how it actually works is a giant net, and it just kind of gets, it's a broadcasting net, and it just blankets an area, and when people get it, some may grab it, some may not, but some of the people who really want to grab it will get it and throw it the fuck out and make sure more people see it. But these are all like nodes in a network.